Anyway, we're gonna do a new game, and yes, we're keeping Chizuru. Because in this portion of the game, it gets said. And it's already on Hijikata because he's the first one. Let's do it. Toshizo Hijikata. Prologue. Now this is all new to me because I have not touched this side. So I know nothing. I can only guess. Based on the actual events of the actual Hijikata. I can only guess. And from other routes, I can only guess. So, I'm in new territory. Yeah, let's go. Winter 1864. In order to find my father, with whom I'd lost contact, I, Chizuru Yukimura, visited Kyo. In that city, I bore witness to a horrifying secret hidden within a group called the Shinsengumi, the Fury, a creature with white hair and crimson eyes. Luckily, I was saved from the vicious clutches of the Furious by Saito-san and Okita of the Shinsengumi, and perhaps most importantly, Toshizo Hijikata. Because I had discovered the Shinsengumi's secret, it was proposed that I live with the Shinsengumi men since they were also searching for my father. As such, I was to serve under Hijikata as the commander's page, a role I performed proudly. So thus began my life with the Shinsengumi. I'd heard rumors, well, whispers really, that the Shinsengumi was little more than a bunch of crooked ronin, but my life with them proved otherwise. Their commitment to protect the safety of Kyo made them the last of a dying breed, true samurai. It set them apart from those who only craved power. The man tasked with leading the Shinsengumi, through these trying times, was Hijikata-san, who perhaps was better known as the Demon Commander. However, as I spent more time with him, I realized that this facade was a front in order to motivate his men in times where victory seemed impossible. I remember one such time where 3 men claiming to be demons, Chikage Kazuma, Kyuju Amagiri, and Kyo Shiranui, confronted the Shinsengumi. I discovered that I, too, was of demon lineage, which explained why they'd been pursuing me. But it was Hijikata-san who had been protecting me all along. Our situation, however, became increasingly dire. Anti-shogunate sentiments were growing intensely throughout the country, and the war between the shogunate and the sacho seemed inevitable. Then finally, the Battle of Toba Fushimi had begun. In order to protect me, Hijikata-san had drunk the water of life, which transformed him into a fury and overcame Kazuma in a one-on-one battle. The sacho, however, were victorious. So the Shinsengumi was forced into fleeing the city they called home, Kyo, and headed for Edo. Achievement, a look. Would it kill you to smile? I mean, yeah. After arriving in Edo, we stayed at the Kama Inn, which was located in Shinagawa and had normally been designated for Hatamoto exclusivity. A recent attempt on Kondo-san's life required that he and Okita, who had contracted tuberculosis, were to stay with Matsumoto-sensei to treat their conditions. Losing the battle atop of Fushimi and Osaka Castle, and Lord Yoshinobu, the supreme commander, retreating. Shogunate Army, a highly organized military led by the supreme ruler, the Tokugawa Shogun. Any troops serving under the banner of the shogun fall within its ranks. The fate of the Shinsengumi grew bleaker, and troops began openly voicing their doubts and concerns.
近藤局長はいつ戻られるんだ。
もしや慶喜公のように我々を見捨てて逃げてしまうのではあるまいな。
そんなことあるはずないです。
Hi, Soma!
余計な心配をしてる暇があるなら言いつけられた仕事をしましょう。
You know what I didn't do? I didn't get the guide. Whoops. Let's get the guide. It just occurred to me at this moment. Give me the guide. Please? Thank you. Soma was the one to speak against the naysayers. Normally, such a subordination was met with harsh reprimanding, if not more, but things had changed.
てめえら、おしゃべりが過ぎるぜ。暇でしょうがねえんなら、刀の手入れでもしてたらどうだ。
申し訳ございません。
It wasn't just the tempers of the soldiers that were fraying. Nagakura and the others were just as tense. How did I watch the two men scurry off inside?
まあ、あいつらの気持ちもわからなくはねえかな。戦になった途端、総大将が真っ先に逃げ出しちまうなんて前代未聞だ。
しょうがねえさ。あの人はもともと尊上派の急先鋒、水戸藩の生まれだろ。
Mito Domain, one of the three houses of the Tokugawa, the domain and their daimyo, have had strong nationalist tendencies for generations.
薩長の奴らが掲げた錦の御旗にすくんじまったんだろうぜ。敵から見るとあんな御しやすい大将もねえよな。
Yo, why did it say Sacho now? What the fuck? Gold brocaded flag. Gold brocaded flag. The official flag of the Imperial Army. During the Battle of Toba Fushimi, it was the flag used by the Sacho to declare their alliance. Sacho. Yeah, Sacho is Sacho. I can't quite tell.
尊上派だろうが砂漠派だろうが関係ねえよ。命かけて戦ってる家来を見捨てて逃げ出すなんざ腰抜け以外の何者でもねえ。
Loyalists, a term for the philosophical and political leanings of those who support the shogunate.
この先、一体どうなってしまうんでしょうか。
近藤さんは怪我で伏せってる。薩長と戦うにも刃物じゃ銃にはかなわねえ。八方塞がりだな。
Nagakura sighed, letting his shoulders slump. If the men under you are willing to give their lives for your cause, then morale can always be raised. No matter what odds you may be up against. But Yoshinobu, in spite of this, chose to retreat. Then what were the Shinsengumi supposed to fight for? What were they supposed to do?
お先真っ暗だよな。あれこれ考えても落ち込むだけだし、吉原にでも遊びに行くか。
吉原ですか、この時期に。
バカ野郎、この時期だからこそ永久を養わなきゃならねえんじゃねえか。
そういえば斉藤さんは一体どこに？最近姿を見かけないんですけど。
Namura asked aloud, glancing around the room.
斉藤なら怪我人や病人の様子を見るため松本先生のところに出かけてるみたいだぜ。
なるほど。
Winning the next battle was of utmost importance. I knew everyone was giving everything they had, but memories of the peaceful times back in Kyo were like a candle flickering in the wind, one breath away from darkness. Sometimes I wondered. I wondered if those memories really happened at all. Oops. One day, an unexpected guest visited the Kama Inn.
こんにちは。ご無沙汰してます。
Yo! Okay! Oh, I believe you were Iba, was it? Hachiro Iba, the eldest son of one of the oldest and most respected dojos in Japan. He is a master of the Shingyoto Ryu martial arts, and his prowess granted him prestige among warriors and officials.
はい。トシさんに用事があってきました。取り次いでくれますか?
Please wait a moment. Sometime after I had led Iba to Hijikata-san's room, murmurs of conversation suddenly became exclamations. Toshizo Hijikata. After drinking the water of life during the Battle of Toba Fushimi, he became a fury, persevering through immense agonizing pain by working day and night to make up for Kondo-san's absence.
なんだと。そいつは本当か？
はい。何でも急に外せない用事が入ったとのことで。
今日こそは何としても話を聞いてもらわなきゃ始まらねえ。ちと出かけてくる。
And with that, Hijikata-san stormed out of the room in a fit. He looked awful when I had come in. Really, all I could hope for was that he'd be alright. Did something happen?
今日面会する予定の幕臣の方に約束を保護にされそうになっていたので知らせに来たんです。
Good man, Iba. Hijikata-san had been attempting to gather shogunate support to launch another campaign against the Sacho by meeting with shogunate leaders. However, the unwillingness of the shogunate leaders to entertain Hijikata-san despite initiative means... Do you think the shogunate doesn't want to fight against the imperial army anymore?
何しろ総大将の慶喜公が新政府軍に恭順してしまっていますからね。僕も不用意な行動は慎むようにと上から言われていますし、こういう時は思うままに行動できるトシさんたちのことが少し羨ましいです。それじゃあ僕はそろそろおいとまします。皆さん方によろしく伝えてください。
Of course. I'm sorry that I couldn't offer you more courtesy in your stay. Shortly after Iba had left Kama Inn, a familiar figure approached to ask me something.
雪村君、副長は中にいらっしゃいますか?
Oh, you just missed him. He stepped out. Did you have business with him?
本当ですか? 江戸に戻ってきてからというもの、獅子奮迅の働きぶりですね。
I know. I seriously wonder how he finds the time to sleep, if at all. As far as I knew, Hijikata-san should have been suffering an agonizing pain during the daylight hours because of his condition as a fury. However, seeing him work as tirelessly as he does, one would have no clue of his affliction at all. Shimada, are you okay? You look a little more gaunt than usual, like you've lost some weight.
まあ、山崎君が亡くなって仕事が増えましたからね。彼の置き土産ですから、多少きつくてもなんとかこなさないと。それに、あれだけ働いてらっしゃる副長を見ていたら、俺一人休むなんて到底できませんよ。
I suppose. I knew how Shimada felt, but he was actually in a position to contribute. Unlike Shimada, There was nothing I could do for Hijikata-san, even though I yearned to be involved and do whatever I could to help him. The day he died, Inoue had told me that while I might not be much help to the Shinsengumi as a warrior, there were other ways that I might be of service. But what could I do for them? I thought about that every day since Inoue and Yamazaki had died, but I had yet to think of what it was that I could do.
それじゃあ俺は他にも用事があるので出かけてきます。
Of course. Please be careful.
そうそう、最近辻斬りが増えているらしいですからね。夜の外出は控えてください。
Hi. Shimada nodded, then he lifted himself heavily to his feet and left. Later that night, I was waiting in the empty common room for the captains to return. I sat idly, twirling my hands and my fingers when I saw...
よう、千鶴。こんばんは。
Oh, Heisuke. Where's everyone else?
新八さんと佐野さんなら大使を連れて吉原に遊びに行っちまったよ。で、俺が留守番させられてるってわけ。俺、あの人たちの使いっ走りでもなんでもねえんだけどな。雑用押し付けられても困っちまうぜ。まあ、以前と変わらない扱いをしてくれるっていうのは嬉しいけどさ。
His laugh sounded small and lonely in the empty hall. Oh, that reminds me. Do you know where Sanan-san is? Did he go somewhere?
三男さんなら見回りだってさ。
Patrol, but we're not in Kyo anymore. No one's asked us to keep the peace in Edo. Why is he still doing it? Heisuke's face turned solemn, as if he were quietly searching for words while I waited in front of him. And then...
最近、三男さんの様子がおかしいんだ。今日も夜になってからいきなり見回りしてきますなんて言い出して。俺も一緒に行くって言ったんだけど、一人で平気だって言われちまってさ。
Oh. Well, I heard that there have been a lot of killings at night recently. Maybe he went out to see if he could learn anything about that. He might not have the same authority that he had in Kyo, but the Shinsengumi still worked for the shogunate. Perhaps Sanan-san was simply trying to protect Edo, regardless of whether he'd been asked to or not.
ならいいんだけどな。
Heisuke didn't really sound like he actually thought it was, however. Oh, Hijikata-san, welcome back.
なんだ、まだ起きてやがったのか。
His face was still pale, but his tone was sharp. As I watched, I realized that he was only barely standing. He shook his head just slightly. He shook just slightly as he moved, and I got the feeling that if he let his concentration slip even a little, he would simply collapse. His legs wobbled underneath his kimono, and he curled his lips bitterly. There was something wrong, but what should I say? Is there anything I can do? No. Is there anything I can do to help? I knew what the answer would be, but I couldn't help asking.
ねえよ。余計な気を回さず、おとなしくしてろ。
Ah, そっか. Even though everyone else was working themselves to the bone, barely sleeping or eating, all I could do was sit around, useless.
おい、だからいちいち辛気くせえ顔をすんのはやめろ。
No, I will keep giving you that look. Ah, I'm sorry. I realized as my words came out that I only made things worse, and apologizing would make me sound more miserable. That wasn't good at all. I needed to be more cheerful if I couldn't help. The least I could do was not bring everyone down.
余計な心配はいらねえから、とりあえず茶でも入れてこい。お前の入れる茶は悪くねえからな。
Okay, I'll be right back. I ran off to the kitchen with a grin on my face. Hijikata-san's words cheered my mood, even just a bit.
土方さんってさ、なんだかんだ言ってあいつには甘いよな。
うるせえ。
Hehehe. Here you go. I could only find some rakugan to go with the tea, but... Rakugan! Rakugan, a dried confectionery made with rice paste, sugar, and starch syrup, which is then colored and shaped into bite-sized portions. This is new to me. I want some, I think. I want to try it.
構わねえ。飲んだらすぐ仕事に戻らなきゃならねえからな。
そんなに働いて大丈夫なのか？羅刹になっちまったんなら夜だけ働いた方がいいんじゃねえの
Hijikata-san didn't answer, instead choosing to sip his tea and sit in silence for a long, drawn-out moment.
大阪城から引き上げる時にな、近藤さんに言われたんだ。もし自分が大将だったら、たとえ兵士が2、300人になっちまっても、大阪城に立てこもって、とことんまで戦って、最後は腹を切って、武士の生き様を見せつけてやるのにってな。
Damn.
肩に弾食らって寝込んでるあの人がそこまで行ってる時に、具合が悪いからって俺だけ休んでられねえだろ。
The prospect of handing over a fully functioning Shinsengumi to his friend brought a gleam in his eye. Shinsengumi to his master and friend. If the rest of the men worried because their chief was wounded by a coward's bullet, Hijikata-san was buoyed by the simple fact that Kondo-san was alive, and that he had the courage to do what other leaders would not. He finished his tea quickly and returned to his room, with only perfunctory thanks? Yesterday, his light had stayed on late into the night. Today would likely be no different.
でもさ、きついのはきっとこれからだぜ。土方さんはまだ羅刹になったばっかで、吸血衝動は出てないみたいだからな。
Bloodlust?
羅刹になるとな、血を飲みたくて飲みたくて仕方なくなっちまうんだよ。剣の稽古で思いっきりぶったたかれるのなんか比べ物にならねえくらい苦しくて、いっそ殺してくれって思うくらいだもんな。
Oh no. Hijikata-san already looked terrible. If unbearable pain were suddenly added to his list of many burdens. Is there any way to do anything about it?
血を飲めば嘘みたいに良くなっちまう。でもそれはあくまでもその場しのぎに過ぎねえからな。時間が経つとまた苦しくなる。しかも最初の頃は少しの血でよかったのに、そのうち多くの量を飲まなきゃ落ち着かなくなってくるんだ。
I was at a loss for words. A monster that could only survive by drinking human blood? It seems like the kind of monster that you could only hear about in legends. What about you, Hesuke? Are you, drinking blood?
頼むから聞かないでくれよ、そういうのは。
He made some manner of excuse after that and then shut up. He departed from the common room quietly, leaving me alone with my thoughts about Hijikata-san. Was he really okay? Had Hijikata-san already experienced the bloodlust Hesuke told me about? Did he refuse to tell anyone about his suffering? He couldn't have been in the throes of it when I saw him, But it was clear that sooner or later he would find himself in a great deal of pain. He was doing so much for the Shinsengumi. I wanted to do something, anything, to ease that pain. I know. He had been doing research on the Furies. Perhaps he left something useful behind at my house, or the one that used to be mine. It was already too late to visit, so I resolved to go the next day and see if I could find anything.